it's Michelle and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time on my first time. That's right, I am going to be spilling all the tea today. For anyone new here, welcome, join my channel, click that bell, subscribe. I would love to have you. And for everybody who has already subscribed and continues watching my content, I really appreciate it. So without further ado, not to keep blabbing, let's get into this video. So let's just start at the beginning. My mom and this kid's aunt were best friends through high school. So I knew him and his whole family basically my whole life. We grew up together. I used to get babysat by his older brother. Okay, let's give him a name so I don't keep calling him kid. We're gonna call him Dan. I never dated a Dan before, so let's go with Dan. So I remember one time in particular, we went over to his house and I loved the movie Gremlins. Gizmo was the sweetest little gremlin, and I used to have a piggy bank of Gizmo. I went over there with my piggy bank. I had some change in it. We were going to go to the store, and I remember this little bugger took my Gizmo and smashed it on the ground. I cried for the longest time. This is just to give you a little history on what he was like when I was growing up with him. Another time I remember going over there and we were playing in the park, and he would always take my headbands from me and snap them in half or make me chase him around for them. He was just a little badass. So fast forward to me being 11 years old, and I started for some reason thinking Dan was cute. I don't know what I was thinking, because I do not think he's cute now, but keep in mind that was a long time ago. So I thought he was cute. We started spending a lot of alone time together. He would take me to movies sometimes. We would hang out on my dad's porch. I would go up to his house. We were spending time together. We were talking on the phone all the time. And then he asked me, do I want to be his girlfriend? And I was so ecstatic. I finally have a boyfriend. He was my first real boyfriend. That's where it all began. I felt comfortable with him because I had known him for such a long time. I just couldn't get any happier. Life was great. I had a boyfriend. I felt so cool, and he didn't go to my school either, so it was one of those situations where I could go to school and tell everybody about my cool boyfriend that went to a different school, and I felt so special. Okay, so I'm going to speak of just a few incidents that happened leading up to my first time. One time we were at his parents' house, his house, and I remember we were making out. He was touching me and stuff, and you know, it felt nice, but at the same time I just wasn't ready. He was always ready. He was always making me feel like I should be willing to go further, and I always stopped him before it got to that point. The next incident, I was babysitting my brothers, staying at my dad's house, and he allowed me to have my boyfriend over. He trusted that we were not having sex and let me have him over so that I wasn't home alone with the boys while they were in bed. My brothers were much younger, and I did not like being left home alone, so my boyfriend was there. We were watching TV, and as usual, he started insinuating sex. He knew there was no parents there, so he was climbing on top of me, pulling out his dick, pulling his pants down, touching me, really trying to go for it, and I just was not having it. I was kissing him, and that's it. My parents walked in, well, my stepmom and my dad walked in, and he jumped up so friggin' fast, hiked up his pants, and ran down the basement stairs. I don't know why he was running down the basement stairs. There was nowhere to go. He couldn't get outside from there, so he eventually had to come up and face the music and be confronted by my dad. At that point, my dad wanted nothing to do with him. He had seen enough, and he wasn't welcome back at the house. So we started spending a lot of time at his friend's house. His best friend and his best friend's brother, they had the house alone a lot. So I would go over there with my girlfriends, we would listen to music, we would dance, we would hang out, and it would be fun. It was like a little party house for teenagers, and it was something I had never experienced because I was always used to having parents around. My mom was pretty lenient, and she would let me go for sleepovers and stuff and wouldn't really check into things. I am so different with my daughter. I am super overprotective, I will admit it, and I do not want to allow the chance for those things to happen. I do want to give her trust, but at the same time, I know what this world is like and I don't want anything bad to happen to her. So I do check in who she's with, what their phone numbers are, when she's going to be back. I'm not just letting her roam the streets. So like I said, we would spend a lot of time at Dan's best friend and his brother's house, play cards and stuff. They would drink and whatnot. I was always really hesitant and scared at this point in my life. So one day we came up with this plan that I was going to say I was sleeping over at my girlfriend's house. She was going to say she was sleeping over at my house so that we could sleep at these guys' houses. If I remember correctly, the guy's house that we were at, he only had a mom and she worked nights. So she was like never there. So they just had run of the house. They were already actively having sex. They both had girlfriends, the best friend and the best friend's brother. So Dan and I were like the only ones who hadn't. My girlfriend had already had sex. She was a little bit older and we just hadn't. Not because he didn't want to, but because I wasn't ready. That night, we were gonna sleep over and we were all bunking in the same room. Now everybody started making out and having sex in this room around us. Actually, my boyfriend Dan's best friend was having sex with his girlfriend and then his brother was also having sex with his girlfriend. So it was just everybody was doing things. So we're in the same room listening to it, pretty much watching everything. Yeah, we had the lights off, but your eyes adjust. Very awkward, very weird. I can't even believe I was in that position, but we all experience things as we're growing up. Now I would never want to be in a room with another couple doing the deed. So we're in the bedroom, they're doing their thing, and here comes Dan. This isn't the first time that he has been pressuring me for sex. The time we were caught at my dad's house, he was pressuring me that time. That's why he had his pants down. He was trying to rub it on me. He was trying to take my pants down, but I wasn't going for it. I only wanted to kiss and touch. So Dan starts giving me the classic cliche lines. Oh, I'm making him look like a loser. I'm embarrassing him. He's gonna find somebody else if I don't give it to him. He's sick of waiting. Everybody's doing it. What's the holdup? Why won't I try? It's gonna feel good. So I caved. We were kissing for a couple minutes, not long enough. I was super uncomfortable and he just starts trying to ram it in. Sorry, this is very descriptive, but I don't know how else to say it. He tries to put it in. It didn't last very long at all, not because of him, but because it hurt so bad. I remember that pain like it was yesterday, and I shoved him off so hard that he landed on the floor. There was blood all over the bed, and I wanted nothing to do with a man's part for a few years after that because I did not enjoy that, you know? Maybe had he been more romantic with me, taken his time with me, not made me feel pressured, maybe we weren't in a room full of a bunch of other people, maybe I would have felt more comfortable and at least had a better experience and a better memory of this. But I was 12 years old. I was way too young for me to be even attempting to do these things. And I don't really want my child or any girl to be in this circumstance where she feels pressured and she's in a situation where, like, I was kind of stuck there. It was the middle of the night. I couldn't really go home. I couldn't even tell my mom where I really was, and now I'm in this situation. I don't want to disappoint my boyfriend, and I don't want to be the loser who doesn't have sex. Everybody else is doing it. Obviously, I consented to the act, but I did feel a lot of pressure, and if I could take it back, believe me, I would. The most thing I can say is be sure. Don't feel like you need to because they're pressuring you. Please don't ever feel like you need to because they might go elsewhere if you're not giving it to them. Let them go elsewhere. Take it from me. Like, I could never get that first time back. I regret that. I look back on my first time, I felt forced into it. We were doing some kind of porno, it felt like everybody's just having sex. I just wish I had stuck to my guns and said no. Obviously now we didn't end up together, so he was giving me the whole lines of we're gonna get married and we're gonna have kids and we're gonna be together forever and we're meant to be. I fell for that, and it wasn't long after that things went right downhill. I remember sitting on the porch with Dan and him talking about my hairy face, saying I needed to shave because I had peach fuzz on my face, making fun of my long neck, making fun of my small boobs, talking about me being too skinny. He put me down a lot, and I don't know why I was even dating him to look back. There was an incident when I went up to his parents' house and he got mad at me for something. We were arguing and he pushed me out onto the road on a highway and I could have been killed. He had major anger issues. He was not a nice guy. Things changed drastically. Honestly, he wasn't a nice guy before. He put on a good show, but somebody who pressures you and tells you things, like threatens you that they're going to leave you, they're going to find somebody else, that is not somebody who's a good guy for you. You need to feel comfortable. They need to be patient as long as you need them to. I just think it's really important to tell this story because I know a lot of girls are going through this right now. My niece, she tells me about things that guys are saying to her and things that are happening. It is crazy. They don't even care if you're in a relationship. They don't care what the situation. They just come out and say, give me head, let's have sex. Basically tell you you ain't worth shit if you won't give it to them and just move on to the next, or getting head in the bathrooms at the mall. Like, it is insane. You know, it's a very sexual world. If you want to do these things, please be safe. Use protection. There is so many diseases out there. Some are not curable. Some you will have for life. And just think, people who are pressuring you and won't wait, who else are they doing that with? I am not judging. I am not telling anyone what to do. If you want to talk about it or you need any advice, I would love to help you. Inbox me, comment down below. I will talk with you. I will message you. I love making new friends. I love talking to people. It's a very special thing that you don't just do with just anybody. I really truly believe that. Your body is something you need to respect. It's your temple. If I could help anyone with this story to know you don't need to feel pressured and that is not a good thing, or if it's just an interesting story. Either way, I really wanted to tell it. I've watched a lot of people talking about their first time. I really love Josh Peck's little series he has going on where he talks about other YouTubers' first times, and I just really wanted to tell mine. So yeah, that's my story of my first time. I have more crazy stories that have happened between me and this Dan guy and his best friend and actually his cousin. One night they all showed up at my house when my parents were gone away for the weekend. It got really crazy. They pushed themselves into the house, broke things, stole things, police came, and way more crazy stuff. If you want to hear that story, give this video a thumbs up to let me know you enjoy my story time. Subscribe, and that way you won't miss any more videos of me. And until the next time, bye! Thank you so much for watching.